automatically dark. I wonder if I go down. Oh, it brought it up a little bit. Good. Alright. Ain't I pretty? Yeah. Okay, so I want to do the word Egypt. And I'm going to take the word Egypt and I'm going to go with each book. So this time we're going to go with Egypt in Genesis, and we'll see what happens from there. And next week will be a different book, be an Exodus. So the first place that Egypt is talked about is Genesis 12, and we want 10 through 14. And there was a famine in the land, and Abraham went down into Egypt to sojourn there, for the famine was grievous in the land. And it came to pass, when he was come near to enter into Egypt, that he said unto Sarai his wife, Behold now, I know that thou art a fair woman to look upon. Therefore it shall come to pass, when the Egyptians shall see thee, that they shall say, This is his wife, and they will kill me, but they will save thee alive. Say, I pray thee, that thou art my sister, that it may be well with me for thy sake, and my soul shall live because of thee. And it came to pass that when Abraham was come into Egypt, the Egyptian beheld the woman, that she was very fair. Alright, let's go to 13 and 1 through 10. And Abraham went up out of Egypt, he and his wife, and all that he had, and Lot with him, and to the south. And Abraham was very rich in cattle, and in silver, and in gold. And he went on his journey from the south even to Bethel, and to the place where his tent had been at the beginning between Bethel and Hai, unto the place of the altar which he had made there at the first. And there Abraham called on the name of the Lord. We'll go down to 10. And Lot also, which went with Abraham, had flocks and herd and tents, and the land was not able to bear them, that they might dwell together, for their substance was great. So they that could not dwell together. And there was a strife between the herdmen of Abram, and cattle, and the herdmen of Lot's cattle. And the Canaanites and the Perizzites dwelt then in the land. And Abram said unto Lot, Let there be no strife, I pray thee, between me and thee, and between thy herdmen and my herdmen, for we be brethren. Is not the whole land before thee? Separate thyself, I pray thee, from me. If thou wilt take the left hand, then I will go to the right. For if thou depart to the right hand, then I will go to the left. And Lot lifted up his eyes, and behold all the plain of Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere, before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, even as the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt, as thou comest to Zoar. Alright, now we're going to go to 15. And we won't mark this off as we go. 15 and 18. In the same day the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying, Unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. And we have two little dotties. The Canaanite and the Kenites and the Cadmonites, keep on going, and the Hittites and the Perizzites and the Rephaims and the Amorites and the Canaanites and the Gittites and the Jebusites. Okay, so we've finished reading that one. We want to go to 21. We're on Genesis 21. Like I said, we're going to keep on, we're going to stay in Genesis this whole time, and then we'll go to, the next book. Okay, 21 and 21. Okay. And he dwelt in the wilderness a Paran, and his mother took him a wife out of the hands of Egypt. So, if you listen to it and all, after a while, you're going to find a picture here of Egypt. Alright, let's go to 25. Chapter 25. Okay, keep on going. And we want 18. Alright, 25 and 18. And they dwelt from Havilah unto Shur, that is before Egypt, as thou goest towards Assyria. And he died in the process of all his brethren. Okay, so somebody died. Not quite for sure. Ishmael, and 150, wow. And 7 years, 157 years old, and he died. That was Ishmael. Alright, so we want to go 26 and verse 2. And the Lord appeared unto him and said, Go not down unto Egypt, dwell in the land which I shall tell thee of. We got two dotties. Sojourn in this land, and I will be with thee, and will bless thee. For unto thee and unto thy seed I will give all these countries. I will perform the oath which I swore unto Abraham thy father. Keep on going. And I will make thy seed to multiply as the stars of heaven, and I will give unto thy seed all these countries, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because that Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge and my commandments and my statutes and my laws. So now, I'm going to say that the commandments and the laws and all, when Jesus Christ went to the cross, he took some of them away. He didn't take the commandments away, or his laws that he had. I mean, like, you're not supposed to eat pork, but we'll do that another day. Alright, so we want to go to 37. So his commandments and all are still on the books today, and we should go buy them. Okay, 37. 37. And we want 25. Down to 36. Down to the very last one. Make sure I'm right. Yep. Okay. And they sat down to eat bread. And they lifted up their eyes and looked, and behold, a company of Ishmaelites came from Galilee, Gilead, with their camels, bearing spicy and palm and myrrh, going to carry it down to Egypt. And Elijah said unto his brethren, What profit is it if we slay our brother, or conceal his blood? Come, let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hands be upon him, for he is our brother and our flesh. And his brothers were content. Then they were passed by Medians, merchantmen, and they drew and left up Joseph out of the pit, and sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver. And they bought Joseph into Egypt. And Reuben returned unto the pit, and behold, Joseph was not in the pit. And he rent his clothes. And he returned unto his brethren, and said, The child is not, and I, whither shall I go? And they took Joseph's coat, and killed a kid of the goats, and dropped the coat in the blood. And they sent the coat of many colors, and they brought it into their father, and said, This have we found. Know now whether it be thy son's coat or not, or no. And he knew it, and said, It is my son's coat. An evil beast has devoured him. Joseph, without a doubt, rent in pieces. And Jacob rent his clothes, and put sackcloth upon his loins, and mourned for his son many days. And all his sons and all his daughters rose up to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted. And he said, For I will go down into the grave unto my son's mourning. Thus his father wept for him. And the Midianites sold him unto Egypt, unto Pharaoh, an officer of Pharaoh, and captain of the guards. Okay, so we know what they do. All right, now what was that? Okay, they sell everybody. All right, let's go to 39, and we want verse 1. All right, and Joseph was brought down to Egypt, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, an Egyptian, brought him of the hand of the Ishmaelite, which had brought him down thither. All right, we want to go to 19 in the same chapter. No, wait a minute. Nope, not yet. We want to go to 40. Okay, 40, and we want 1 through 5. And it came to pass after these things that the butler of the king of Egypt and the baker had offered their lord, their king of Egypt. And Pharaoh was wroth against 2 of his officers, against the chief of the butler, and against the chief of the baker. And he put them in ward in the house of the captain of the guard, and to prison, the place where Joseph was bound. And the captain of the guard charged Joseph with them, and he served them, and had continued a season in ward. And they dreamed a dream, both of them, each man his dream in one night, each man according to his interpretation of his dream, the butler and the baker of the king of Egypt, which were bound in the prison. Okay? So you can only dream if you have anything to do with Egypt. You can just dream. I mean, I'm already done got what I'm getting out of this. I've already done got it. Alright, now we want to go to 41. And we want verse 8. And it came to pass in the morning that the spirit was troubled, and he sent and called for all the musicians of Egypt, and all the wise men thereof. And Pharaoh told them his dream, but there was none that could interpret them unto Pharaoh. Alright, we're going to go on down to 19. And behold, 7 other kind came up after him poor. Wait a minute now. Something's not. Yeah, okay. Alright, and behold, 7 other kind came up after them poor, and every ill-favored, and lean flesh, such as I never saw in the land of Egypt, for badness. We got 2 dotties. And the lean and the ill-favored kind did eat up the first 7 fat kind. And when they had eaten up, it could not be known that they had eaten them, but they were still and ill-favored as at the beginning. So I awoke. Alright, we want 29. Whoa. To 57. But that's not going to be a lot. 57, that's going to be the... Yep, that's going to be the rest of it. Alright, so we're going to start with 29. Alright. Behold, there came 7 years of great plenty throughout the land of Egypt. And there shall arise after them 7 years of famine, and all the plenty shall be forgotten in the land of Egypt, and the famine shall consume the land. And the plenty shall not be known in the land of reason of the famine that following, for it shall be very grievous. And for that the dream was doubled in Pharaoh's twice, it is because the thing is established by God, and God will shortly bring it to pass. Now therefore, let Pharaoh look out at a man discreet and wise, and let him over the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh do this, and let him appoint officers over the land, and take up the 5th part of the land of Egypt in the 7 plenteous years. Now, I got a question to ask you. Do you think God would approve of Joseph trading off his people's land and doing this right here that is being talked about right now? Do you think the Creator God would really want this? Think about that. And let them together all the food of those good years that come, and lay corn under the hand of Pharaoh, and let them keep food in their cities. And that food shall be for store in the land against the 7 years of famine, which shall be in the land of Egypt, and the land perish not through the famine. Now, do you think that Pharaoh paid for all this food that he got? Do you think he did? Mm-mm. And the thing was good in the eyes of Pharaoh, in the eyes of all his servants. And Pharaoh said unto his servant, Can we find such a one as this is, a man in whom the Spirit of God is? And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, Forasmuch as God hath showed thee all this, there is none so discreet and wise as thou art. Thou shalt be over my house, and according unto thy word shall all my people be ruled. Only in the throne will I be greater than thou. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, See, I have set thee over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh took off his ring from his hand, and put it upon Joseph's hand, and arrayed him in vesture of fine linen, and put a gold chain about his neck. And he made him to ride in the second chariot which he had. And they cried before him, Bow the knees, and he made him ruler over all the land of Egypt. Do you think God is really happy with them bowing themselves down to him? And and Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I am Pharaoh, and without thee shall no man lift up his hand or foot in all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh called Joseph's name Zab. Okay, you don't even have what you would back then call a Christian name. You don't have it no more. Alright. And he gave him wife, Asenath, the daughter of Pharaoh, the Potiphar's priest of On. And Joseph went out over all the land of Egypt. And Joseph was 30 years old, and he stood before Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And Joseph went out from the presence of Pharaoh, and went throughout all the land of Egypt. So do I go on? Yep, 57. Okay. And in the 7 plenteous years the earth brought forth by handfuls. And he gathered up all the food of the 7 years, which were in the land of Egypt, and he laid up the food in the cities, and the food of the field, which was round about every city, laid he up in the same. And Joseph gathered corn, as the sand of the sea, very much, until he left numbering it, for was without number. And unto Joseph were born 2 sons before the 7 years of famine, and the Asenath, the daughter of Potiphar's priest of On, bore unto him. And okay, see, I believe even his religion changed, because he is the Potiphar's priest. So I don't think it was a priest of God. Okay? So anyway, let's go on. And Joseph called the name of the firstborn Manasseh, for God, said he, that hath made me forget all my toils and my father's house. And the name of the second called Ephraim, for God hath caused me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction. Now, the only reason why I come out, hey, hush! The only reason why I come out see this is because he's up there with the elite of that time. Okay. And the 7 years of plenteous that was in the land of Egypt were ended, and the 7 years of dearth began to come, according to Joseph, and said, and the dearth was in all land, but in all the land of Egypt there was bread. And when all the land of Egypt was famished, the people cried unto Pharaoh for bread. And Pharaoh said unto the Egyptians, Go unto Joseph, what he saith to you do. And the famine was over all the face of the earth, and Joseph opened all the storehouses, and sold unto the Egyptians, and the famine waxed sore in the land of Egypt. And all the countries came unto Egypt to Joseph for to buy corn, because that the famine was so sore in all the land. All right, I'm going to call it quits here for now. And next week, we'll pick it up from there. We'll start on 42. All right, I hope y'all enjoyed, and we'll continue it next time.